COVID Mageddon 2020, day 4 of the great hashtag grounding. I didn't do a video yesterday because there wasn't a whole lot, and I didn't want to just blather on any more than I'm blathering on already, and kind of wanted to get a little bit off of the COVID or the virus kick and a little bit more onto what my experiences are and what it's been like so far as all this has gotten underway. Because yesterday and today were actually the first days of really working at home for me. Last week was getting set up and getting other people set up and moving out of the plant or moving out of my office. And then Monday I had a thing I had to do in the morning, so it was a little unusual, and it was just different. So yesterday and today were normal days, get up, shower, get dressed, come in and sit down and work for the whole day. And it was a little different. One thing you can see, I'm not shaving. We've decided we're not going to shave. Well, when I say we, I mean the people that are on my leadership team at work. And come in, sit down, start working. Like I had mentioned before, I would normally get to work pretty early in the morning, 6 o'clock, because the plant starts at 6, but I don't have to do that now. The plant's not running. Most people are coming online between 7 and 8, so I didn't get out of bed until like 6:30 this morning. I was awake a little earlier than that, but I didn't get out of bed. Did go out to the plant to pick up a UPS shipment that had come in. Joan and I picked up lunch. There's not very many people around town driving around. So it was kind of fun to get some lunch and come back and eat it. Took me a while to get it all eaten due to interruptions and meetings and things that were happening online. And that's a little bit of an unusual thing because it's a lot less obvious to people that you're not at your desk or at your office because they're just connecting with you. And we're using Teams to connect. Well, we're using video chatting with Teams. We're using the audio chatting with Teams. And getting all of that set up. And that's actually working pretty well. We're pretty happy with that. And while Joan and I were out running around, we were talking about, do we think things will be different in this regard? And I think they will be. Communications, when you're remote, can kind of suck. If it's one-to-one, like if I have a single video or audio chat with a coworker over Teams, that works pretty well. If there's 3 of you in the meeting, that seems to work pretty well too, at least the feedback I'm getting. You get 8 or 9 or 12 people, and it's pretty difficult. The people that are all in the meeting don't necessarily see what's going on. They don't get the nonverbals. There's always that delay as it's all trying to synchronize the sound. And it's like, okay, nope, you're speaking, so I'll pause. And there's some unspoken duration that you wait for the next person to take up. Well, everybody has that same duration. So it's like, oh, they're talking, so you'll stop. Okay, they're done. And then you start talking. Well, they have the same duration in their head. So you both end up talking again. And it's kind of like the 4-way stops where it's like, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. And that gets to be really difficult. And then there's always the delays. If you remember back to the early cell phone days, going from an analog cell phone to a digital cell phone, it was pretty lousy digital communications. If everything was working great, it was clear, but you still had that kind of one-way conversation. You almost felt like a walkie-talkie and you needed to say over so that the next person knew it was their turn to speak. And it's a lot like that when you get a few people in it or if you end up with slow internet connections. And what Joan and I were talking about was that much like with those digital cell phones in the early days, they didn't really improve a lot. They added features. So now our phones have cameras and our phones have Facebook and our phones have all these other things, and they're really not phones. We just don't know what else to call them. So we call them phones, yet they're really chat devices and cameras And because they do all these other things for us, well, we're willing to put up with poorer communications, poorer telephone communications, because we can chat, we can send messages, we can get email. And if we have to actually speak to a person, well, we're willing to put up with some lousy quality. So coming out of this, out of this being the great lockdown, #grounded, I think we will tolerate poorer communications. And over the years at work, a lot of different telecommunications companies have tried to get me to go to voice over IP or other technologies that don't really have the greatest call experience. And I've prioritized call experience over a lot of the features that those things could get you, because I think it's better to have that two-way communications where you can interrupt the other person pretty effectively, or you can both be speaking in this duplexed fashion. We don't really get that much, and it's really bad with the collaboration tools like Teams. Over time, that'll improve, much the way it has with cell phones. So, if you think back, analog was good, had some of its limitations, mostly feature set. It was kind of a one-trick pony when it was in the analog days. But now we've got digital, and we've got a lot of other stuff. So work went pretty well today. Things that I needed to do, I can kind of focus on, don't get too many interruptions, but most of the plant's not working either. So where there's maybe 40 people working now, there's usually 400 people working. Granted, most of them are manufacturing, but that's the source of a lot of the support needs, is what's going on in manufacturing, because we are, after all, a manufacturer. It's nice to be able to have lunch with my wife. It's nice to have the coffee pot so close. It's nice to have the bathroom pretty close. I've been logging that, and it's kind of interesting. So put some artwork here on the wall. My boss has guitars, real guitars, in his backdrop when we have meetings, so I thought I'd put some decorations on the wall behind me so that so I'd be cool too. Anyhow, it's a pretty good day. Oh, there is one thing that I'm having trouble doing. Did I mention this the other day? I don't think so. With this computer system sitting here in my living room, and most of my evenings are taken up anyhow with watching Facebook or looking at Facebook and surfing YouTube and doing things online, I find it really hard to get away from the computer. And that's something I need to work better on. It's 6 o'clock at night right now. It's not infrequent that I'm working this late. It's something I need to get better at. So I'm sure I'm getting some support on that. I know my boss told me to get offline a little while back. So technically I'm not working now, right? I'm doing other stuff. I'm just using the same device to do it. Anyhow, day 4 of the lockdown has gone pretty well. I'm kind of liking it so far. We'll see how it goes as we go further along. The president's got some ideas. I'm sure the governor's got some ideas, and we'll check in with you. Is tomorrow Friday? No, tomorrow's Thursday. So it'll probably be Friday before I come back here again. Thank you to my assistant, or my producer. She gave me this information. So anyhow, you all have a great day on day 4, a good evening from day 4 of #grounded. Please subscribe, please like, tell your friends. I really want to get more people. I think it's kind of fun. It's really get a bang out of it. So we'll talk to you later.